Good morning to everyone. I am Indra Vikram, Business Study Lecturer from Don Bosco PU College, Chitradurga. In the previous class, we discussed about principles given by Henry Fayol, right? Before starting our session or today's topic, we shall have a small recapitulation of previous class. We discussed in the previous class, we discussed about principles given by Henry Fayol. This is just recapitulation. See, Henry Fayol's principle, first principle says that work should be divided into smaller parts. Work should be divided into smaller parts. For example, if the whole work is 100%, that should be divided into smaller parts and should be assigned to different departments. HR department, purchase department, sales department, marketing department. See, when the work is divided and assigned to different departments, what will happen? As a manager, a person will come to know which work is assigned to which person. And if the work is not completed, he can catch exactly that department or that person. Because since this work is assigned to advertising, assigned to marketing department, you can exactly catch that marketing department in case of incompletion of the work or if the quality is not maintained up to the mark. Okay, fine. So then here in this case, when the work is divided into different departments, works will be undertaken or completed by experts or specialists, because these people will be doing the same work. When the people do the same work, even I and you, when we do the same work, we will become expert in that field, right? So here the advertisement work is assigned to marketing department. Already people in the marketing department will be having theoretical knowledge. After doing the same work repeatedly, they will become expert, and then you will get the benefit of specialization in case of division of work. Divide the work into smaller parts and it should be assigned to different group or team or departments. Then we will get the benefit of specialization, and we can avoid overlapping or duplication of work, confusions, or delaying completion of the work, etc. Right? Next, what's that principle we saw in the previous class is authority and responsibility. Here, Henry Fayol says that we should maintain proper balance between the authority and responsibility. Here authority is nothing but right to give command, right to give order, right to get the obedience, get the work done from the employees. And whereas responsibility is accountability. If the responsibility is given to me, I should be reporting to the higher authority who has given me the task, whether the work given is completed or not completed. If not completed, what are the reasons? When I will be completing? Okay, what are the assistance I may need? All the things should be reported. That is what accountability or responsibility. Okay, here accountability and responsibility travel in a parallel line or a parallel path route. When you get authority, automatically responsibility will follow you. Here, Henry Fayol says that there should be proper balance between the authority and responsibility. If you don't follow this principle, what will happen? Authority will be misused. I give an example like yesterday. I remember, if a manager is given authority to use machineries, men and money, what will happen if the person is not given responsibility? He may misuse the resources, men, money and machinery. He may wait, and after some time, he may misuse the money for his personal use. He is not given responsibility. Right? So, Henry Fayol insists to maintain proper balance between the authority and responsibility. Next principle we saw in the previous class was discipline. He says that there should be discipline, and discipline is nothing but complying with the rules and regulations of the organization or code of conduct of the organization. That is what discipline. First, there should be discipline with the manager, because managers will be the role model for the subordinates, for the normal employees. The manager comes late, the employees also follow him. Fine? So there should be discipline with the managers and the employees. Without discipline, all the measures, all the efforts taken by us in the organization will be in vain without discipline. So that there should be proper discipline. There is discipline, training, correction, feedback, motivation, controlling, direction, everything will go on time. Everything will go successfully without confusion. Neat and crisp. Neat and crisp. Right? Okay. Now we shall start this session with the continued principle. Fourth principle. That is unity of command. Okay. Unity of command. So this too was discussed in the previous class. This too was discussed, right? Still you can see that. When the company or when the organization follows, what will happen? There will be one leader. When there is one leader, all these things will be followed. Employees will be trained, they will be corrected, they will be given feedback, they will be communicated with the updated information, motivation, they will be motivated. All these things will follow. When the employees are done with these things, their efficiency increases. Employees' efficiency will, but organization's efficiency, right? Correct or not? When the organization efficiency increases, automatically organization will be able to attain its goal, that may be profit or growth expansion, whatever it may be, we will be able to achieve it. If we don't follow, if we fail to follow this principle, what will happen? There will be two leaders. I gave example of A and B. What will happen? Some people will go with you, some people will go with B, and A will blame B, B will blame A, vice versa, right? For not completion of the work or failure of the organization. For everything, they will blame each other. Groupism will take place, arguments, misunderstanding, commotion, strikes, lockouts, hatred, all these things will follow. So to avoid these problems, Henry Fayol suggests to go with the follow the principle of unity of command, where we have one leader, and one person cannot blame any other person for not following or not carrying out these responsibilities. He has no other role than following these responsibilities. When these responsibilities are followed, employees' efficiency will increase, organization will be profitable. Right? Okay. Now we shall continue with the fifth principle. That is unity of direction. That is unity of direction. Here too, Henry Fayol says that there should be only one person to direct the employees. I mean to train the employees. Direction is nothing but these things. Direction is nothing but these things. Direction includes training, correction, feedback, motivating, communicating updated information, giving feedback. All these things will come under direction. Here, from the statement itself, you can get that there should be only one person to direct the team or a group of people. Right? Almost unity of command and unity of direction carries the same concept. Unity of command and unity of direction carry the same concept. There should be only one person, one leader to direct the employees. When we follow, when we do not follow, or when we fail to follow this principle, what will happen? As I gave the same example, there will be two leaders. When we fail to follow this principle in the organization or unity of command in the organization, there will be two leaders. There will be two leaders. When there are two leaders, what will happen? Groupism will take place. Some people will go here, some people will go here. Groupism will take place. Misunderstanding, arguments, then disagreements, strikes, lockouts, hatred, all these things will take place. All the problems will take place. At the last, it is the organization who will be affected. There will not be confusion, arguments, strikes, walkouts, groupism, overlapping, duplication of the work, delay in completion. All the problems will be solved when we have one leader or one person to do direction and to follow all these things. And employees' efficiency will increase, organization will get profit. Right? Okay. Next principle given by Fayol is subordination of individual interest to general interest. Sixth principle. Individual interest to general interest. See, this is the sixth principle given by Henry Fayol. Here you see usually individuals working in the organization will be having their own goal. Like me and you have got our own personal goals. In the same way, individuals working or employees working in the organization will be having their own personal goals. Some will be having goal of getting more salary without working hard. Some will be having a goal of getting recognized by the organization or the recognition in the society. Some will be having goal of increasing their standard of living. Some will be having goal of getting promotions. Usually, they will be having many goals, and clashes will take place among those goals. Because of those clashes, what will happen? Individualism will develop among the employees, and they will become selfish. They will concentrate only on their personal goals. They will forget about the organization's goal. Group goals. They will forget. At the end of the day, neither organization will reach its goal, nor individuals and employees will reach their goal. Nothing will happen. Because, as you know, unless until we reach the organization's goal, as employees we cannot reach our goal. Because to reach our goal, the path, the route is to achieve group goals, right? So, Henry says that managers should motivate their employees to or convince the employees that, see, of course, like you, even I have got my own goal. To reach our personal goals, we should reach organization's goal, that is profit or growth and expansion. We have to reach that goal. Once we reach that goal, or once the organization reaches its goal, automatically our goals will be attained. For example, if we work hard and make the organization to achieve its goal, that is growth and expansion, or profit or growth and expansion. First, we should go with the profit. If the organization gets profit, what will happen? Increment will be given. Salaries will be increased, incentive will be given, or bonus. They will share their happiness in terms of bonus, incentives, or increment. Then some of the personal goals will be achieved when the organization achieves its goal. Right? And one more, if we take the organization's goal as a growth and expansion. When the growth and expansion takes place, new employees will get in. When the new employees get in the organization, as old employees, they will be promoted to next level. Right? Promotion is, if my goal is to get promotion, that is attained, right? Then if I get promotion, what will happen? My salary will increase. If my goal is to get more salary, that is attained. If my salary increases, or if my salary is increased, my standard of living will increase. If my goal is increasing my standard of living, even that will be attained. So, here managers should convince that unless and until we achieve these two goals, we cannot attain our personal goals. So, we should give importance to which one? To my goal or to organization's goal? To organization's goal. Next preference should be given to my goal, because that should be achieved. Automatically, my goal will be achieved. Okay, fine? Okay. So that's why Henry Fayol suggested to give preference to organization's goal, not to our personal goals. Okay, fine. Next, seventh principle is remuneration of employees. Remuneration of employees. Here, Henry Fayol says that remuneration of employees should be fair and just. And of course, sometimes it should be equal. See, for example, assume that there are 3 layers in the organization. Here, A, B, C. We cannot give same salaries to these 3 persons because they are in the different positions. Here we cannot expect equal salary, right? Where we can expect? Here we can expect because both are the same level. When the both works quality is same, when the experience of both the persons are same, experience, quality, talent and skill, contribution are same, we can give them same salary. I mean equal salary. We cannot expect equal salary to these all the three persons. That's what we have said. Here we should not do any partiality. The contribution of B and D is the same salary should be given. There should not be any discrimination or partiality. Giving 10,000 to B, 20,000 to D, when the contribution of both the persons are same, in that case, it will become partiality or injustice or discrimination. Fine? So here everybody says that salary should be equal and fair and just. Fair and just. I mean, if the A is working very hard, it should be given increment or incentive. That is what fair and just salary, fair and just remuneration. If the A is working very hard or C is working very hard, his or her hard work should be recognized. He or she should be given increment. I mean the hike in the salary or incentive, bonus. That is what remuneration of employees. I mean fair and just remuneration. Fair and just remuneration. Fair and just remuneration. See, when we do not follow this principle, when we do not give equal salary for the 2 persons, when their contributions are same, when these persons' hard work is not recognized, when incentive, bonus are not given, when there is partiality or discrimination, giving 10,000 to B, giving 20,000 to D, when their contributions are same, when their hard work are same, what will happen? Groupism will develop. Many employees will leave the company. I mean, employees turnover. That I will tell you later. What is employee turnover? What are the disadvantages of employees turnover? Employees turnover will increase. I mean, many employees will leave the company. I mean, employees will not continue their hard work. They will stop. See, I am working hard. My hard work is not recognized. Why should I work hard? So I will become lazy. I will follow other employees, those who are not working hard. So they will stop contributing to the organization, or they will leave the organization. I mean, employees turnover will increase. Groupism may start, or disobedience may take place, or incompletion of the work. All the problems will start if we do not follow this principle. Fine. That's why to avoid those problems, Henry Fayol suggests that to follow remuneration of employee, I mean fair and just remuneration for the employees. Fine? Okay. We shall continue with the next principle, that is centralization and decentralization. Centralization stands for vesting the power or authority in few hands. Okay, so centralization, power authority will be vested in few hands. Assume that there are many people. Here, in case of centralization, authority will be vested only with this field. Authority, power. Power to take decision. Authority to form rules and regulations, code of conduct. Authority to plan for the whole organization. So, power and authority will be vested with all will be having. Only these three persons will be having authority. These persons will not be having authority. This is what centralization. Usually this centralization will be followed in the small scale organization because there will be only few employees. Only these three can manage those employees. Whereas decentralization is just opposite to centralization. Here authority will be shared with the authority and responsibility will be shared with the other person. Authority and power will not be vested in few hands, but rather will be shared with many. Usually this will be followed in the large scale organizations or large scale industries or institutions. Right? Example, in Infosys, there are 70 lakh people. There are 70 lakh people, right? There, only 3 persons cannot manage these many employees. Only 3 persons cannot manage lakhs together employees. So what they do is, they share their authority and responsibilities with the many managers, or they will appoint many managers, many HRs, many operation managers, and share it with them. What they will share? Authority and responsibility. As we saw in the functional formation, flowchart, I don't know, manager, planning in charge, production in charge, instruction card clerk, route card clerk, then route card clerk, time and cost card clerk, with the production in charge, we saw speed boss, gang boss, what is that? Repair boss, inspector. So in that way, responsibility authority will be shared with the decentralization. If not shared, then it will be considered as centralization. This is for small organization. Usually this will be followed in the small organization. And decentralization will be followed in the large scale organization. Right? Okay. Now, the ninth principle, that is scalar chain. Scalar chain. See, this principle says that communication has to be. In case of communication, we have to follow hierarchy to vertical line. Communication has to be through through vertical path. Okay, through in case of communication, we have to follow the hierarchy. Level first, level 2, level 3. A has to communicate to or pass the information to C. C has to pass the information to E. Only vertical path should be passed in case of communication. Right? No diagonal or horizontal lines or paths are allowed here in case of scalar chain. But when there is emergency situation or when the situation demands, we can go for all the paths, vertical, horizontal and diagonal paths. And then this will be considered as a gang plan. Gang plan. Okay, fine. You may ask why Henry Fayol has suggested this principle to follow in the organization. What will happen if we fail to follow this principle? What will happen? Say, if we follow all these paths, diagonal, vertical, then horizontal, See, rumors will take place. Information may not reach right person. Information may reach wrong persons. Rumors will take place. Confusions will take place. Okay. To avoid all these problems, Henry Fayol suggested to go with the scalar technique. We have to follow the hierarchy in case of communication. Usually, most of the time we follow vertical path, not horizontal and diagonal path. But when the case of emergency, we follow all the three paths: vertical, horizontal, and diagonal. In that case, that process will be considered as gangplanks. Will be asked for 2 marks or 1 mark. Remember? Okay, fine. Okay. Next principle is, 10th principle is equity. Equity. This principle, or through this principle, Henry Fayol suggests that there should not be any partiality or discrimination in the organization. There should not be any partiality or discrimination in the organization. Manager or higher authority or superior, whoever it may be, they should treat all the employees in the organization in a just manner or in a fair manner. They should not show discrimination to any of the employees. See, they are from my village, or they are from my city, or they belong to my caste, so I give them many facilities, I give them many excuses, I give them many increments, incentives, bonus, I reduce their responsibilities. That should not happen. Okay, you should treat all the employees equally. Okay, when we fail to follow this principle, you may ask, if we fail to follow this principle equity, what will happen? What will happen? Assume that as a manager, I show discrimination to many of the employees in the organization. What will happen? Groupism will take place. The people whom I don't like, or the people to whom I am discriminating, or to whom I am showing discrimination, they will stand against me. Strike, lockouts will take place. They will not obey me. Okay. At the end of the day, it is the organization which will, or who will be affected. And to avoid those groupism, misunderstanding, or arguments, in combination of the strike, lockout, to avoid those problems or hatred feeling, to avoid those problems, Henry Fayol suggested to follow the equity principle. Equity. There should not be any discrimination. I should, as a manager, I should treat all the employees equally. I should provide all the employees equal facilities, equal opportunities to learn, equal opportunities to get motivated, equal opportunity to show their capacity and take initiative, etc. Fine? Okay. Here we shall wind up the class and continue the next 4 principles. I told you in the beginning, he has given 14 principles. We have discussed only 10, rest 4, and next concepts we can discuss in the next class. Okay? Thank you.